Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for September 22nd, 2017. We're your hosts, Spaceburger2448 and Rapid Epsilon.
Hi.
You put it in the wrong chat.
Did I?
Yes.
Yes.
You put it in the bot chat.
Why did I put that chat below the staff chat exactly?
I don't know.
I fixed that problem.
Did the tweet go live?
Nope, because I didn't hit the tweet button. Because, forgot to do that. Oh well, they only missed the intro.
Yes, the intro where I say the date that is not the date on the notes because I do these a day early.
Yep.
Try to, at least. Okay, well, unfortunately, folks, there's not that much to talk about from Tokyo Game Show, at least from the Sony end of things, because Sony stuff was a whole bunch of stuff we already knew about. And by already knew about, I mean literally it's everything I think we already knew about, except for one or two things that were announced with a teaser that had nothing. So they're not worth talking about. And I don't... Oh, you remember that City Shrouded in Shadows game where you're a civilian and like on the ground during big monster battles video game? I don't remember. I talked about it once for a quick draw.
I don't remember right offhand.
Okay, well, this is a game where you play as a civilian, as essentially when like big giant monsters are fighting, like Godzilla invades, and you're one of the people on the ground trying to not die. Or when like an Ultraman's having to deal with something, or no Sentai stuff, but there is Evangelion. Essentially one of those, and drama ensues from there, from what I can tell. Honestly, the game has a cool concept, but everything I've seen since then, including this new trailer, just does not look good. It's seeming far, far less interesting by the minute, because it's like you have a very cool set dressing for whatever like drama story I don't give a damn about is going on. You literally have a scene from Evangelion playing in the background while some guy is pointing his gun at some other guy, and I honestly do not care about what's going on. I'm like, you're trying to kill this guy. Meanwhile, Evangelion, like 20 feet behind you, is trying to make sure that the whole city don't get blown up. I think your problem's not that important. But yeah, I got a new trailer from TGS at least. I haven't seen anything else. No climax fighters, though. Which might not even be there. Granted, it just started this weekend, so maybe it will be there.
It might.
But before I ramble off on anything anymore, let's talk about what we've been playing these last couple of weeks. Tom, you got anything?
Outside of what I've streamed, no.
Well, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only got two things, and those were literally from the last couple days. I have not honestly got to really sit down and play anything till like yesterday. But I picked back up Odin Sphere, which went through all of Mercedes' storyline and have started into Oswald, which is the fourth one. That's a really good game, by the way. Like, really good game. It's better than the PS2 version because of all the updates they've done. But when you buy the PS4 version, you can play classic PS2-esque or PS2 version of Odin Sphere without all of the gameplay improvements.
Huh.
But yeah, it's really good side scroller, beat 'em up. And I've picked up a entire folder full of Final Fantasy VI ROMs. Okay, I was trying to find a FF6 ROM because I wanted to play FF6. Because of all the Final Fantasies, like 6 and 12 have the most interest, have the most interest to me at least. I don't know why those two. I know why I'm interested in 12, but I'm not sure what keeps drawing me back towards 6. 12 is because it's essentially the plot of Star Wars in a Final Fantasy game. Literally, the plot of 12 is literally the plot of Star Wars.
That's funny.
I know, it's ridiculous, and that's what keeps drawing me back to 12, and probably why I'll pick up Zodiac Age at some point for PlayStation 4, since that's the best version of 12 we're going to get right now. Because it's 12 with the internet, like the Zodiac job system that was introduced in the international version that we didn't get stateside, which is far better than the 12 we've got stateside. So it's the best version of 12. 6, I have no idea. So I tried to pick up a ROM of 6. Instead, I got a whole folder of them. Guess what, like, the first 3 I picked by date were?
What?
They were, in fact, a ROM for Final Fantasy VI, except they weren't the English version. Nor were they Japanese. I think they were Spanish.
That's odd.
I know. It was like the 4th ROM I picked was finally, I believe, a US ROM, a ROM of the US version because it's labeled Final Fantasy 3, which for those that don't know, that is Final Fantasy 6 in America. Because Final Fantasy numbering early on is stupid.
Well, I think then that too kind of boiled down to we didn't get all the Final Fantasy games.
Okay, 1 is in fact 1. 2 is
2's what?
3?
3 or 4?
It's 3, I believe. 3 is 6. I have no idea what 4 and 5 and 6 in America are. But I believe we were back on track with 7.
I don't think we actually had 4, 5, or 6.
Well, that complicates matters.
Because I think at that point is when they decided, you know what, screw this trying to keep up with 2 numbering systems. We're just going to do 1, and they're going to be happy with it. And to be fair, I don't think anyone ever questioned it.
Yeah. 43 different versions of Final Fantasy 6/3 in this folder I downloaded. I was just trying to find one version, and it took me forever to find one, and I ended up with 43 versions of it.
That's funny.
I don't know what the difference between any of them are. Besides, I believe that they should all still be the SNES version, which is arguably the best version of 6 besides the GBA one. Like, the GBA one has a little bit better gameplay, but not as good music.
Well, I mean,
Whereas,
it is the GBA one.
Right. Whereas the original SNES version has the better music, but not that much gameplay improvements. So depending on which way you want to swing, it's either or. Honestly, I don't care. I just want to play a version of 6/3. So it's whatever. It's the SNES version for me. Because fuck it. But I've enjoyed what I've played, and I'm only like 20 minutes in the game collectively from 2 sessions. It starts slow, but I think all Final Fantasy games start slow.
Speaking of Final Fantasy games, I need to play Project Octopath Traveler. I got the demo, but I've not played it yet.
Yes, the game from the people who made the not Final Fantasy game, Bravely Default.
It's one of those, it looks really good because I've seen a little bit of it, but yeah. It's one of those I know I need to play it.
Yeah. It's still kind of hilarious to me to think, okay, people kind of outside of Square Enix or outside the normal Final Fantasy team made the best Final Fantasy game in the last few years, except maybe 15. And that's Bravely Default and Bravely Second by extension, because I think Bravely Second still went over well.
I think it did, just not as good kind of deal.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the best Final Fantasy games we've gotten besides maybe 15, but like this is more classic Final Fantasy than whatever you want to categorize modern Final Fantasy as.
That's a touchy subject, especially if we throw 13 into that.
Yeah. I almost want to say 15 is more like Kingdom Heartsy than it is Final Fantasy, but that's just because of the gameplay. Because it's more real-time action than turn-based action.
Yeah, I can see that.
Of course, when you have the team that made Kingdom Hearts on the damn game to start with, go figure. Yeah. Ever wonder why it's taken so long to get to Kingdom Hearts 3? It's because they were working on this game for fucking ever. Literally. And now I saw some YouTube video title that like apparently the 7 remake has more things done on it than the Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm just like, fuck off.
To be fair though, that's kind of expected. I mean, it's one of those that, you know, people are still gonna be fine with whenever Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. It's more of a case of the Final Fantasy VII remake, they might have a limited window.
There is no limited window for 7.
If they don't do it justice and do it in a timely manner, yeah, there could be a window there.
Especially since we're doing that episodic and shit. Oh, hello, screenshots for the Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer expansion because, oh, good lord, 15's the next big cash cow for Square Enix. They keep promoting the universe of Final Fantasy 15, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, how long are you gonna drag this out?
Long as they can.
Like, there's only so much 15 people can take.
Okay.
Like, I have a copy of 15.
Okay. You're telling this to the company that squeezed the crap game of Final Fantasy 13 out into 3 games.
Yeah. I'm just reminded of the Game Informer podcast I listened to where one of the people on there said, like, someone from Square Enix said, we were not going to do this. And then they still went and did it. Ugh. Like, I have a copy of 15, but I haven't went back to 15 since I played, like, the opening half hour of the game. Mostly because I have other things to play. At least Destiny 2 looks good.
I'm wanting to say I heard them say something about 15 might even come to the Switch, but I can't swear to that.
It's possible, but if it is not going to be 15 proper. It's going to be probably that Pocket Edition.
If it's that Pocket Edition, they can just hang on to it.
It's probably going to be something. If it's not that, it's somewhere between the two. Because I don't think we can get proper 15 on the Switch. I don't think it's powerful enough for it. I don't think.
I don't know. Because the Switch is kind of one of those hidden gems when it comes to that. It can do stuff you wouldn't fully expect it to be able to, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you kind of don't expect much either.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, have you seen anything for the Destiny 2 raid?
Nope.
It looks pretty good. Like, I was watching Broman and his crew tried to get worlds first. They got worlds third. They got pretty close. But it's essentially the raid is set up to where you go into a central area and then you pick one of you're essentially going through a sequence of 3 rooms and 3 challenges before you do the boss.
Hmm.
And apparently, from what I've heard, and I don't think I've quite seen it yet, but from what I've heard from Broman and crew, the order you do those has been switched around since the first week the raid's been live. So it seems like the sequence you're having to do the raid is going to be different. It'll still end with the boss fight, but the 3 challenges are going to be cycled around. And considering this is a big giant ship and we still haven't even talked about prestige mode yet because it's not out yet, there's a lot of question of whether there will be more to the raid in the future.
I'm sure there will.
Which is kind of crazy because none of the raids in Destiny 1 changed that much from their release, besides their hard mode iterations. The thought that, oh, the prestige, not only would the prestige mode change it, but like over the course of new DLCs coming out and new content coming out, this raid will change over time. Like, that's kind of crazy and cool. Especially since the entire story context of this raid is this guy is testing you and your party, and when you defeat the boss, you don't actually defeat the boss, you just defeat one of his like half a thousand robot clones. Like, when you beat the boss and you go into the final treasure room, you're walking past racks of robotic duplicates of the guy you just killed. So, like, this raid can be literally repeated multiple times within the context of the story. And yes, the big bad is essentially Andros. At least with the reveal of him being a robot. He's more, oddly enough, he seems not quite wholly villainous. Maybe he might be a decent person because he might be trying to help us in the future. Because spoilers for the end of Destiny, the Guardian might have let someone know he's alive, or not the Guardian. The Traveler might have let something really bad know it's alive, like super bad, and it's on its way. But yeah, I am definitely interested in Destiny 2, but I would like to have people to play with in order to experience it. And to be honest, I don't mind starting fresh in Destiny 2 because I didn't get that far in Destiny 1 to start with.
Now, it's not out on PC yet, is it?
No, it should be out in the next month, I believe.
That's what I was thinking. That means that'll be another game I'll have to pick up.
I believe there's like 7 games on the Switch I want right now. When I sat down and looked, and it's like, oh my god.
So I know what you'll be wanting before too long.
Yeah. What's bad is that's almost all the games on my wish list for Christmas. The only other game is Uncharted Lost Legacy for PlayStation 4. Mostly because I'm not trying to overdo myself with more RPGs. Because if I didn't, it would be Cyber Sleuth 2, 12 Zodiac Age. There's something else. But there's like a couple, like one or two more RPGs out there that I would want to play. And it's just like, I don't have the time for RPGs. And I do more RPGs. It's just going to clog my backlog even more. And I'm trying to clean it out. But I guess we can get into articles now.
I guess so.
Okay. This isn't surprising because we already knew about this, but I'm mostly bringing this up because I have a question and I'm not sure if there's a good or a bad answer to it.
Okay.
So, as we've known for like months now, the Yieldy Duke controller is going to be coming to Xbox One for those insane people who want to use a Duke controller. Good for you. We have a picture of a prototype of it, I believe. And this is for Windows 10, actually. Now, I've got a question.
For Xbox One and Windows 10.
Xbox One and Windows 10, my bad. You see that center Xbox logo?
Uh-huh.
Window, essentially? Is that a screen?
I'm almost thinking it is, because for some reason, the last part there that says about the no release date or price yet, it also goes and says, and has a new display. The original Xbox controllers didn't have a display.
Nope.
So I'm assuming that's a screen now.
Why?
The only feasible thing I can think of is because, okay, this is Xbox One and Windows 10 compatible. Perhaps that shows like notifications like game invites and messages and stuff like that.
Again, why?
Herein lies my other question. If that's a screen, where's the Xbox button?
It doubles as a button?
Dumb design.
Well, maybe the Duke... Well, no, the Duke controller didn't have one. But it needs one.
To be compatible with the Xbox One.
Hell if I know. Maybe they put actual goddamn triggers on this and it's one of the wire black buttons.
I doubt it.
Okay, then it's select.
And actually, it had triggers. It was the bumpers that didn't have. Because the white and black became the bumpers. Speaking of which, who would be dumb enough to try to use this on an Xbox One? Because you use the bumpers for most games.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why no one liked the Duke controller when it came out. Why are those two extra buttons over here instead of on the top like, you know, a normal good controller?
Well, okay. To be fair, when the Duke controller came out, if you look at Halo CE, and I'm not meaning Anniversary that uses Reach's controls, if I'm remembering correctly, one of them was the flashlight and the other one was like switch and grenade types.
Yeah.
That honestly,
White was grenade, I believe.
that honestly wasn't a bad design for that.
Mm-hmm.
However, look at any shooter 360 era forward, the bumpers are used a lot.
Yeah.
Meaning that controller is crap. I feel like they're only doing this to play into the whole the Xbox One is getting backwards compatibility with original Xbox games.
Yep.
And that's a dumb trope to fall into.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, Windows 10, the 360 controller I've got's kind of on its last limbs. Maybe?
Well, if you want a really good controller, go buy a PlayStation 4 controller and then download DS4.
Or do like I did, just get you a wired 360 controller.
That works too.
Plugs right into the USB and you already have the drivers.
Yeah. For those that don't know, your PlayStation 4 controller, if you just plug it in, doesn't work with everything. But if you download DS4 and install that, then it works with everything. I don't know
X-Patter
why it just
works good
does.
too.
Well, DS4 is free as well. I don't think Xpatter
Yeah,
is.
X-Patter is.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking into why my PlayStation 4 controller wouldn't work with certain things, and then I found out that you just need a DS4 or something like it, and then boom, it's done. So now I can like throw away my cheap ass $20 Logitech controller and never have to look at it again.
Yeah, see, that's the thing with me. I still have my 360.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a dual purpose of me using a 360 controller on a computer. Because if I ever decide, hey, I'm going to plug my 360 back up, I've still got a controller. The only reason I say mine's kind of on the last limb is the left bumper. If you play a game that it needs it a lot, yeah, you can't rely on it.
So just like my Logitech controller.
Yep.
And bear in mind, I've had that controller for like a year, maybe.
Yeah, I think I've got you beat on my 360 controller then.
Mm-hmm. That's why I call it a cheap ass $20 Logitech controller, because it's literally a cheap ass $20 Logitech controller. Well, I might as well bring this up because I saw somebody talk about this in the comments of an article that was talking about a showcase of holiday titles for Xbox One in Windows 10, because most of them are coming to Windows 10. And the guy pointed out, Microsoft doesn't really have a lot of franchises on their console.
Not exclusive to their console.
Yeah.
It's one of those that if Sony wound up with enough, I would be more persuaded to buy a PS4 than an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
It's just right now, Nintendo's actually killing it. And I feel like most of the money that I possibly would sink into a PS4 will probably wind up going to Switch games.
Yeah.
Which, on one hand, is really good because Nintendo's finally getting somewhere. But on the other hand, it's like, I might have possibly decided to get a PS4 if it hadn't have been for that.
Well, at least the PS4 has good things on it that are exclusive to its console.
Right.
Whereas Xbox One has...
Well, it has Halo 5. Well.
Should we talk about Halo 5? Because I don't know about that one.
Well, I mean, you look, really Halo 5 is the only thing it has. Because everything else is on at least one other console.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Halo 6 is probably going to be Xbox One Windows 10.
Yeah, which means I can pick back up on the Halo franchise and hope it's better off after 5.
Well, I'm going to put it this way. Kind of gave up on that part of it. 343 kind of screwed up on 5 a little too hard for me to just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to blindly follow you.
Oh, so you had your Mass Effect 3 moment.
Yeah. It's just happened in 2 games instead of 3.
Yeah. God. Yeah, one of the 2 Gaming Sins channels I follow is just now doing everything wrong with Mass Effect Andromeda, and it's in multiple parts. And once more, it points out how stupid and dumb the entire premise of Andromeda is. It's like, okay, the premise of Andromeda, whole bunch of people from multiple species go take off to Andromeda because. No reason, just because. Because the Reapers are never name dropped in Andromeda, I think. If they are, it's once.
So,
like, they are not the reason why they left.
So
Really?
that tells me then that there's still another story that should have took place within the original trilogy?
No, because this takes place before 3.
But that's what I'm saying. There had to have been a reason for them to flee, so therefore there is still another story somewhere within that original trilogy.
But they're not fleeing. They're going off to explore another galaxy. Even though, like, most of the Milky Way galaxy is uncharted. Like, we have a whole galaxy here that, like, only maybe like a quarter to a half of is charted and, like, populated. And you're gonna take off to a whole nother galaxy to go chart that one out. Bravo.
You know what? I just figured it out. They all work for the government. Because that sounds like a smart move the government would do right there.
No, they all work for Cerberus, which makes it even better because Cerberus is stupid. Because this sounds like a Cerberus plot. Like, I can almost guarantee that Andromeda was funded by Cerberus or backed by Cerberus. Because Cerberus would do something this stupid. Also, your main character's dad is extremely stupid as well for not trading off helmets in a low oxygen area so you both survive. Like, it would be one thing if both of your helmets were cracked. Or if both you and your father's helmet were cracked. No, only your helmet is cracked. So your father just shoves his helmet on you and just goes, "You're going to be okay," and doesn't have Pat take the helmet back after you take a few deep breaths because That's what you're supposed to do, dumbass. That way, you both live. Also, the whole fact that there's only one Pathfinder per arc, per species, is extremely stupid as well. And there's no Pathfinder on the Nexus, which got there before any arcs got there like 4 months in advance. And the whole fact that they picked out their world from back on Earth. You know, all these golden worlds, they're supposed to support life, and then they get there and none of them are habitable. And everyone acts surprised about this. Because you want to know what's really stupid about that?
What?
All that data they had on those planets about being habitable, yeah, that's probably like a few hundred years out of date. Because what we see of stars and planets and shit is from the past. Because light only travels so fast. Like, right now, any number of the stars you see in the sky can be gone. Right now. But you can't see that because the light of its explosion is still traveling to us. Which is the whole point, which makes their whole thing about like, oh, all our golden worlds are not habitable. What could have happened? Well, you fucking idiots didn't think about, the distance the light that you got your information from traveled. Fucking morons. God, Andromeda is so fucking stupid sometimes. Well, let's talk about a better game. Like a really good game. Like one you should definitely pick up in December.
Like one that's getting an HD release?
Yep, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC, it's Okami, which is really, 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 really good and really, really fantastic looking. Like, you see that picture right there?
Yep.
That's only so much better than how the original game looked. The original game looked like this back on PS2. I have a PS2 copy of this game.
Okay. To this, I'm going to say, what's some of the things that you can tell based off of the art style, though?
Like, it is a lot more brighter. It's a lot crisper than how it was back on the PS2. But, like,
Well,
that's
like, not so much what I'm meaning. The art style is kind of like a cross between how Wind Waker and Borderlands is. Art styles like that usually age pretty good. And to be fair, look at the differences between Wind Waker and the HD remake. You can't really tell a whole lot has changed. Like you can, but not much. I can see this game being similar to that aspect. And to be fair, something like that, they really didn't even have to do much work besides just port it, and it probably still would have been fine.
But yeah, the Okami is a gorgeous game and has always been a gorgeous game, and now it's getting bumped up to HD 4K nonsense. Oh my god, that looks so good. But here's the better thing. You know who made Okami?
Who?
Clover Studios. Now, most of you are probably going, who? Don't worry, I can guarantee you've played a game of theirs. Because Clover Studio was shut down, I forgot how long after Okami's release, but the people behind Clover Studios went and reformed under a new studio. And guess what studio that was?
What?
Platinum.
Yeah. I'm seeing it now.
So for those of you who love Platinum games, this is from back when they were a part of Sega as Clover Studios. Like, let me pull up their full list of things they did as Clover before they went and became Platinum. They did all the Beautiful Joe games. Beautiful Joe 1, 2, Red Hot Rumble, and Double Trouble. And they did God Hand. They were founded in 2004 and defunct in 2007.
God, after you said that, yeah, that art style, you can definitely tell was theirs.
Mm-hmm. And the gameplay, it is very much like theirs. It's an action game where you play as Amaterasu, who is a dog that whoops 12 kinds of ass. Like, there's a reason Amaterasu got to be part of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This is why, because Okami's really good. But yeah, I encourage everyone to go and get this. I need to get back to my old PS2 copy of it, but that would mean dragging my PS3 up here to my dorm, and I don't feel like doing that. That might be while I'm back home for winter break. Anyway, we have a little interesting thing about the Switch.
That thing.
Mm-hmm. That thing that's legitimate, as far as I know. I don't know. I don't have a Switch to test.
Well, I've read into it because of the way the Switch updates the date. You kind of can't force it to do it. But there is an NES emulator.
There is an NES emulator, and there is this game, because as people found out before finding out how you could unlock this, there's a Switch emulator on the Switch containing a playable version of Golf for the NES. And how you unlock this is a tribute to Satoru Iwata. Essentially on July 11th, the day Iwata passed away, if you do the motion of, what was it called? I forgot what the motion was called, but it's from the Direct. If you scroll down, you'll see a picture of it. I believe it's directly to you motion with the Joy-Cons. You unlocked the ability to play this game. We have a video here that shows proof of this, in theory.
Shows proof of flog running golf.
Yes.
Shall we look at it?
We can. There's not really any audio to it.
Want to do a countdown or just play it?
You can just play it.
Okay.
It takes a little bit for it to get going. But yeah, this is pretty cool. And I think Japanese players are calling it a good luck charm. Or a little, I forgot the name of what it was called, but it's in a Kotaku article about talking about this. But it's pretty neat. Once more, how the Switch has a bunch of hidden stuff in it now, doesn't it? Because it's got this, and it's got the hidden message on the Pro controllers.
Yeah.
Like, what else is going to be, like, hidden away on the Switch that we're not going to find out about for fucking years?
There's no telling.
But yeah, this video is a lot of just visual demonstrations of how this works, and it takes a little bit for it to work. Like, I think he does it like 5 or 6 times before it clicks. Because you're only supposed to really do it once, and it will work. It's about to say around the 2-minute mark, it finally works for him. And it works, and it runs. And I believe Iwata actually worked on this game. Might have been the Kodatka article that talked about it. But I believe Iwata worked on this game, which is why this was the game that's hidden away on there.
And you know, I could see them being able to keep this as a little Easter egg because, you know, there has to be an NES emulator on there for when they decide to start doing the free game a month kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps this was a way to be able to test it.
Mm-hmm.
Which now makes me wonder, is there an SNES emulator on the Switch already?
I would think if it is, we would have found it by now.
Maybe not. If it's hidden in something similar to this. I mean...
Yeah. Well, it could also come in through an update.
True. To be fair, this could have came in through an update.
Yeah.
Because they knew how to break it from almost day one. Because there's actually a way to kind of break into one using something similar to how iOS was broke. Or, wanting to say a few generations back?
Mm-hmm. Still can't believe they're selling a $1,000 phone. Who needs a $1,000 phone?
Someone with $1,000.
Like, I was talking to my mom about that, and I rattled off the thing I saw on Twitter that I believe I retweeted, which was, hey, you could literally buy a 3DS in every core Pokemon game for less than that phone. Every single one of them. Every pair, every third version, all of it. I think the remakes were even in there too. But anyway, pretty cool little Easter egg. And you remember when I said something about Shovel Knight being in every single indie game and that they need to do some crossover game?
Yeah.
Somebody apparently decided that was a good idea and went and did it.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. It's Indie Pogo. Not only is it an indie crossover game, it is an indie crossover game in the style of Smash Brothers.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Featuring the likes of Shovel Knight, I forgot her name, Lilac from Freedom Planet, V from VVVV, one of the people from Rivals of Aether, which is another Smash Brothers style game, by the way, or Kane. What is his name? A character from an Endless Runner. Some fish with a cigar and a shotgun. And I don't know what the other one in the corner is. But yeah, a whole bunch of characters from a whole bunch of indie games in one game. And a Smash Bros. Style game. I can't believe somebody actually went and did this.
I can.
Should we take a look and see how this is?
Which video?
Top one.
Okay. Because that's just a new fighter trailer. Well, I was wondering.
I believe it shows everyone. I think the bottom one is just an explanation of the mechanics, so.
I believe I'm ready when you are.
All right, taking a look at it in 3, 2, 1, go. You know, this actually looks pretty good. And they have their own goddamn trophies too.
Oh God.
Yeah, they just doing all the fucking Smash references, which, yeah, fuck it, I dig it. Now, there's one bad thing about this game that might bug people, including me. You're always jumping.
Honestly, that wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
Because it would be a change, and you wouldn't have people used to fighting games that just come in and school everyone.
But they have 50 indie studios lending their properties. 50 studios. That is insane.
Yeah, especially seeing as how the only thing that was close to that would be Smash, and most of Smash's characters are Nintendo IPs. So, yeah.
But yeah, heading to their Kickstarter, just to name several, like the games that have characters represented so far. We have Shovel Knight, Tesla Guard, V5, Shuyashimi, Bit Trip, Freedom Planet, The Block Cometh, Rivals of Aether, Jack the Ripper, Zorby, Stardrop, Veko Spider, Downwell. I can't read that one. Something Penelope, Awesome Knots, and Octodad. That is all who's revealed so far. And I think I saw a trophy for Duck Game in there.
Yeah, Duck Game was listed.
Gungeon is a cameo.
Yep.
Dive Kick, Always Awakening, Mutant Muds, Rumbo. They're in cameos. Good lord, there is so much stuff here. Krypton the Necrodancer is in here as well as a cameo. Wait a minute, what is Wrestle Run? I have never heard of this. Beardblade's in here. But yeah, Jesus. They do have a Kickstarter. It's at 12,000 of their 25,000 goal. They do have stretch goals. Additional character costumes at 40K, PS4, Xbox One ports at 50, equipable relics at 60, additional single player modes at 70, Horde survival mode at 120, boss battles at 130, event matches at 150, online multiplayer Horde survival at 170, animated player cutscenes at 200, and a Switch port at 300.
Well, that sucks that the Switch port would be the last goal.
Mm-hmm.
How much are they up to so far?
12,321
Well, hopefully.
with 19 days to go.
Hopefully they'll get everything they need.
Yeah, unfortunately, the wrestling RPG did not make its stuff on Kickstarter, but hopefully they get funding elsewhere because I want to see this game. Well, that game and this game. Because a wrestling Paper Mario style RPG and indie Smash Brothers, yeah, I could use both of those. Both of those sound really, really good. Well, you ready to talk about the Connect? Or not the Connect, the Direct? Not the Connect.
If we're talking about the Connect, then there's a problem.
Yeah. So, this past week, we got a Nintendo Direct that wasn't all too surprising. Most of the stuff we already knew about. Honestly, I kind of called it when I said it was going to be mostly their holiday lineup, and it was. But there's some interesting stuff in here, and some kind of bad stuff, mostly because it was really boring. But I'm just going to hit some of the just hit the headlines, and we'll talk about whatever we are interested in from there. So we're getting a special Pokemon theme or Pokemon themed new 2DS XL in November. It is red and white, styled after a Pokeball. This is going to be coming out November 3rd to coincide with, or come out before the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon releases on the 17th. But you've got Pokemon Gold and Silver out right now, today. We are getting Minecraft on the 3DS, like right now. So, yay, one more thing you can play Minecraft on. It's only on the new 3DS and new 2DS systems, unfortunately. Here's a really interesting one. Mario Party, the top 100. Essentially, you know how everyone loves the mini games in Mario Party?
Yep, this is all of them. Well, this is the top of them anyhow.
This is the top 100 out of all of the Mario Party, all of the core Mario Party games that have come out. So 1 through 10, I believe. 10 or 11. But yeah, this is the top 100 mini games out of those. Done all new. They are not, none of these are being emulated. They're all done brand new from the ground up, which is kind of cool. It's a shame that it doesn't have like proper Mario Party attached to it, but it might be a neat little diversion. But all of them are 4-player. All of them are multiplayer compatible. You only actually need one cartridge to play with 3 other people.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. That's probably the best thing to come out of that too.
We have a new 2DS XL color for America, orange and white.
Looks like crap.
Yeah, bit very kind of not Daisy colors. Kind of an invert of that.
It's one of those, I saw that and I was like, yuck. Because, okay, you say orange and white, but really it's more white and orange.
Yeah.
That's what makes it look bad. If it was more orange with white accents, that would probably be alright.
It would, because that's Tennessee Volunteers colors.
I'm not even
White
I'm
and
not even
orange.
saying because of that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
mostly white with orange accents looks like crap.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is the Volunteers away team colors. Yeah, or orange with white accents is their home colors, and yeah, that looks good. White with orange, not so
No.
much. Well, we also had like 25 minutes of explaining how Xenoblade Chronicles 2 works on a gameplay level, which is way more than we needed.
It's like it had me sold until we got to that point where it was just the brick wall of information.
Yeah, not only did we get gameplay, we had plot stuff with fucking Grandpa Dragon Planet thing. I forgot what it is. Bored Grandpa who didn't want to be here.
What I don't get is why.
Padding. That's the only thing I could think of.
Because that's information that you give in game,
Mm-hmm.
not to try to sell the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if they kind of wanted it to not do good.
Well, it's coming out December 1st, and it's got a collector's edition, or what was it? Special edition, technically. It's got a copy of the game, soundtrack, 22-page art book, and a steel book case. And we're also getting a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 themed Pro Controller.
Which actually looks good.
Mm-hmm. Special edition comes out or special edition is going to be $100. Xenoblade Switch Pro Controller is $75. No other information. Fire Emblem Warriors went and confirmed that leak by showing off Lynn, which means that, hey, Celica, Child, Tiki, and Sita are coming. And by the way, Sita and Tiki got officially announced right now. Celica got officially announced yesterday.
I was going to say Celica got announced yesterday because I remember seeing that on Tumblr.
Yeah, in the 5 seconds she's in of the 2-minute trailer that went over through every character.
I do say for both of these, I'm marginally interested. Like, right now, I kind of feel more apt to getting Xenoblade Chronicles 2 than Fire Emblem Warriors. But that's more because of the fact of I know Fire Emblem Warriors isn't going to be a quote-unquote true Fire Emblem game.
Nope, it's a Muso title.
So it's like, if I get into Fire Emblem, I think I want to go, like, main series.
Well, you are getting a proper Fire Emblem title on the Switch next year.
I just don't know if I want to wait and see if how that one turns out, or if I want to try to go through an emulator. Like, that's the big thing.
Well, you can emulate Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn without problem, I think.
Should be able to.
You definitely can emulate any of the GBA titles. Well, either of the GBA titles, which is Lens, which is the original Fire Emblem game, or not original Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem titled game on GBA. I believe it's Blazing Sword is the proper subtitle for that one. And then there's Sacred Stones, which I don't think anyone's ever really propped up from that one unless you played Heroes. If you get a DS emulator working, you can play the remake of the first game for Marth, which is Shadow Dragon. Then you have Awakening and Fates, which are the new modern Fire Emblem games.
But they're both
And then
3DS, so.
And so is Echoes.
So that entails me actually buying the game. Because that is one thing. I'm sure there's 3DS emulators. I'm sure there's ROMs for 3DS games. If it's the currently released hardware, I'm not going to emulate it. Like, that's the only rule I've got. DS stuff, depending on what it is, I might bend that because the 3DS can play DS games. But yeah, outside of that, if it's the current hardware, yeah, I'm not emulating it.
Yeah. Honestly, I would suggest. I'm trying to remember which of the two GBA games has the ability to grind in, because I would suggest those first, because those are the easier ones. Which, by extension, means that both Awakening and Fates are easier because you can grind. You can't grind in Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn, which makes them inherently harder. But that's what I would suggest. I don't know. If you play through Path of Radiance, I am on stream co-comment for that one. I will literally put down whatever work I have to do. I will be there to co-com, and I will be there to coach you through. Because, oh boy, you probably need some help. Because Path of Radiance is kind of unforgiving sometimes. Radiant Dawn, even more so. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how much problems you've had out of both of them.
Well, half of Path of Radiance was technical issues.
True.
They just made the difficulty harder sometimes.
Yeah, by having to re-record stuff.
Yep. Granted, I got the best Black Knight fight you could ever get for entertainment value by having it literally come down to the last attack. I'll never be able to duplicate that. Yeah, I'm interested in Warriors mostly because as a Fire Emblem fan, I'm like, all right, I'll bite, even though I've beaten Awakening, I have Birthright for Fates, and I have a copy of Shadow Dragon, so my knowledge of the main three ones are kind of eh. And considering like Shadow Dragon has 3 characters to represent it versus way more than that for both Awakening and Fates, kind of feels really imbalanced and shows how much kind of a bias there is to those two games. And also the weird part of having both Lyn and Celica in here, but like no one else from their games. Like, why isn't Alm here if Celica is? Because they're both the main characters of their game. Like, the whole thing with Echoes is you're bouncing back and forth between their perspectives of the story. Like, the entire first act of the game is Alm, and the second act is Celica, and I believe the third act is both of them. It's like if you're going to represent Radiant Dawn, if you're going to represent the main characters, it has to be Ike, Alencia, and Micaiah, because they're all three of the main characters of that game. Because Act 1 is Micaiah, Act 2 is Alencia, Act 3 is Ike, and Act 4 is all their groups together. Like if you're just doing Path Radiance, that's fine. Ike's the only main character there. But if you stick in, like, sub in the Radiant Dawn, you kind of need to do some proper main character representation there. But maybe Warriors will be okay. Find out in December. We get a new Kirby game for the 3DS, a Kirby Battle Royale, where it's Kirby v. Kirby. Ow. Thank you, Autoplay Video, for being very loud. You got various Kirbys with various unique abilities and multiplayer battles and other multiplayer events and stuff. So multiplayer Kirby minigame nonsense at its finest. Which it looks pretty good for what it is. I'd say it's more of a warm-up to the proper Kirby game we're going to be getting. Well, instead of Virtual Console, we have... what was it called? It's on the release list, I know.
Can't remember right offhand.
Arcade Archives, which is ports of a bunch of arcade Nintendo titles. Versus Super Mario Brothers, versus Balloon Fight, versus Ice Climbers, versus Pinball, and versus Clu Clu Land. There is multiplayer abilities for the Super Mario Brothers. Actually, Mario Brothers, technically, because it's the versus one. Also, Super Mario Brothers in there, I believe. Because Super Mario Brothers has an arcade cabinet. I didn't know that until I saw it in person. I literally have seen a Super Mario Brothers arcade cabinet. It was the weirdest thing to see in the world, because I'm like, I didn't know this got an arcade release. It's coming out September 27th, so literally next week. Japan has it listed as $7. So it's probably going to be a super cheap pickup. Which is nice. Any interest in picking up some old arcade games?
Maybe. Not sure yet.
Well, there is one thing you will be interested in, and that's some Zelda amiibo. We've got information on the 4 Champions amiibo and what they exactly do. And a release date. They'll be going on sale November 10th, which possibly means the Champions DLC is coming out on November 10th. Maybe.
More than likely.
But scanning any of the 4 amiibo will give you a helmet representing that respective character's divine beast. No more information about the helmets, but you do get some fancy helmets out of this. And they are, like, palette-wise lined up to correspond to work with the what is it called? The ancient armor?
Ah.
They're all patterned to, like, go along with that one. So you can pretty much just replace the helmet, like the helmet with that armor with any one of these 4 and it still works. At least visually. But yeah, that's cool that we get some information on the champion stuff. Like that we got a little bit more information out of it, but it's about like getting information for the new Pokemon games.
Like pulling teeth.
We got a release date for Skyrim on Switch. It is coming November 17th in both North America and Europe. So for those of you who have not played Skyrim on anything else, you can play it on Switch on November 17th with Zelda themed armor and weapon mods. I am not calling it DLC. It is a goddamn mod. I guess I might as well just say this. Doom and the new Wolfenstein are also coming to Switch. Both of them this year. Which is like the most surprising announcement out of everything here.
I think Doom really is the one that kind of shocked everyone.
Mm-hmm. The Switch version does include multiplayer.
For Doom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a separate download.
Yeah. No, it's offered as a day one update.
What I saw was it's a separate download.
Okay. Yours is probably the more up-to-date one, so you're probably the correct one there.
Because I remember seeing that and I was like, okay, I can see that. Because personally, if I bought Doom on the Switch, I would probably only play the single player.
Mm-hmm.
Because the multiplayer kind of just doesn't really sit right with me for some reason.
Mm-hmm. GameStop, I hate all your autoplay videos. They're the worst. We also got the announcement of a demo for Octopath Traveler, which had another 15-minute explanation of gameplay stuff. Again, I don't know why. It just was. It looks cool. Very different artistically, but gameplay-wise, I hope it holds up. You probably will know more than I do.
It definitely looks really good. I've yet to sit down and play it, so I'll know more once I do, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. A little bit more information. Odyssey, it's got a photo mode, and then we got a new kingdom, which was a Snow Kingdom. Don't have a name for
Which
it.
I'm wanting to say that puts us up to like 9 kingdoms.
Mm-hmm. And I saw this on a Game Explain video. An ad for Odyssey does show a map of the world, and it also shows both the Mushroom Kingdom and Al Delfino on it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of like cool that there's that reference there. Also, the Mushroom Kingdom is shaped like a mushroom,
Of course.
of course.
Well, it's just
But
like
Game
Al
Explain.
Delfino is shaped like a dolphin.
Mm-hmm. Well, Game Explain took it the step further. It's like, could we be going back to Al Delfino for something? And I'm like, probably not. I doubt
I
it,
don't
but
know.
it's cool.
I don't know, because you look, really, the Piantas have had at least cameos in a lot of the Mario games since Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
Either way, I think Odyssey has me at the point where it's pretty much a guaranteed buy. It's a case of, can I get it day one or not?
Yeah.
And God help me, I've almost done decided that I'm gonna try to speedrun it.
Oh boy, that's a long speed run.
I'm
That is
not
just gonna be a long
100% in
speed
it.
run.
No.
Still, even any percent, it's still gonna be long.
Any percent I can't feel like it'd be that long.
If it is not an hour and a half, I'll be surprised.
You're giving it a lot more credit. I'm feeling like with the amount of moons you have to collect, 100% speedrun's probably going to be on the 12 plus hours side. So I could see an any percent easily being up like 5-6 hours. Easily. Early any percent probably still closer to that 10-hour mark. That's one of those, I might wait and let others kill themselves first and then see what happens. Kind of like enjoy the game trying to get 100% first. Trying being the key word.
I've decided to look up. Where's Galaxy 2 on here?
Galaxy 2, 200 and... What is it? 242, I think. Yeah, 242 is like 9 hours, and that's the top time. So that's why I'm like, I can easily see 100% for Odyssey being 12 hours plus.
Well, Galaxy 2's 80% is 3 hours.
But there's also a lot of skips that took time to develop. That's why I'm like, early, more than likely, we're probably looking around at least 5 or 6, probably closer to that 10-hour mark for early ones.
Surprisingly, 3D World's only an hour and a half.
For any percent or for 100%?
Any percent.
Well, that's partially because you don't have to get a lot. See, that's going to be the thing, too. If Odyssey plays similar to 3D World in terms of the Moon Collection, chances are it might be a 2-hour speedrun. But if it plays like how Galaxy and all the quote-unquote proper Mario titles play, it could be 10 hours for early ones.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the big question there. Is this going to be a hybrid? Is this going to be one or the other? And oh dear God.
I guess it depends on how many moons you need to get around in the Odyssey, because I think that's the main limiter there.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Which, see, if that's the case, it might follow the same kind of pattern that 3D World did. Because I'm wanting to say like 120 or 130 stars is all that you have to beat 3D World. That's not that much. If you're casually looking for the stars, chances are you won't have to go back into a level to find a star to finish the game.
Well, we're also getting a bundle with the Switch for Odyssey, $380 in the US. It's got Odyssey and the Switch, and nothing else. Oh, red Joy-Cons. And a Switch carrying case. That's nice.
Which, might I add, that's the first time we've actually had decent colors for Joy-Cons.
I gotta love those neon colors.
You know, the neon red and the neon blue would be fine if both controllers were the same color. The splitting them like that is the problem.
But we got more Switch information, a little bit more quickfire. Kirby Star Allies announced at E3. We're looking at a spring 2018 release for that. That looks pretty cool. Splatoon 2 getting more updates. Kelp Dome's coming back, along with a new stage, Snapper Canal, which is a shit, what is it? It's in San Francisco. It's one of those canals like that.
And I think
And we got a new umbrella
I
weapon.
think Snapper Canal and the Brella weapon both have already came out.
Well, it arrives on September 15th, so yes.
I'm wanting to say Kelp Dome hadn't the last that I looked, but then again, today would be another update for Splatoon 2, so it's possible it's out now.
Mm-hmm. Lollipop was added to the ARMS roster.
And oh dear God, is she OP?
Welp.
And I love the clapback. Just gonna say.
What's that weapon?
It's basically like the Guardian. It's a shield type weapon, but it bounces the arm back at the player. And arms that have like electric stun or ice or anything like that can freeze them or electrocute them, and it's fun.
Well, we also got Simper Kippers Plus putting out some DLC. Our new version of the original game, 30 plus new stages. You're getting new content via $10 DLC purchase if you've already bought the game. Full game launches on November 10th at $30. NBA 2K18 is coming to Nintendo Switch along with FIFA 18 and the new WWE 2K18 with no gameplay footage.
And NBA is already out.
Oh, yep. NBA is already out.
On the eShop.
Yeah. Physical release in October.
Which is odd. Over a month difference between it.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, I'm surprised by a WWE game on a Nintendo console. It's been a while.
Apparently when my nephew was
cleaning my room, he found a case for one of the WrestleMania games I had. No disc, mind you, because I'm missing some of my old GameCube games, but yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, that makes me want to dig into like the Day of Reckoning, the couple of Day of Reckoning games we had, because those had proper single players. And the really dumb WrestleMania game where the single player was you ruined WrestleMania because you got fired. Like you could play as The Rock and you were fired by Stephanie McMahon, and now your job is to go beat up construction workers and ruin WrestleMania. That is a really stupid single player mode for wrestling, by the way.
Sounds like it.
Morphe's Law was also shown off again. We've talked about that before. Arena of Valor, new free-to-play MOBA. Yay!
What's bad is when you get a Switch, you know we're going to be playing that at least once.
Yeah. Because it's free to play. Might as well.
And I believe there's talk about this game might pave the way for Nintendo to wind up marketing in China.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And if that happens, then the Switch is going to take off even more. So, yeah.
Ending off with 3DS stuff. The new Professor Layton game, Layton's Mystery Journey, featuring his daughter. Coming to 3DS on October 6th. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions was shown off more, along with the Koopa and Goomba Troop, or Koopa Troopa and Goomba. Had that backwards. Amiibo. They're coming out October 6th. I'll be picking up both of those amiibo. I'm just gonna pre-order everything on Best Buy now because Amazon gives me no indication of when shit goes up for them, and fuck that nonsense. You can watch 2 Psychic Specters which is described as the definitive version of Yokai Watch 2, aka the third version of the game, because Yokai Watch is essentially the new Pokemon.
Yep.
Coming out September 29th. People on the base game already can download an update on September 14th that adds the Yokai Watch Psychic Blasters mode. RPG Alliance Alive is coming out early 2018. It's an old school RPG. I don't remember what this one was. Oh well. Eternia Odyssey 5 is coming out. Launches the day, or demo came out ahead of the full release in fall. SMT Strange Journey Redux comes out early 2018, adds new story content, additional endings, new dungeon to explore, and enhanced graphics. Apologist's Ace Attorney is coming out in November for 3DS. For those of you who are looking for more of the Ace Attorney series, there you go. I think you can get almost every game on mobile right now if you're super interested. And finally, Fire Emblem Warriors is coming out on mobile. And no mention of Pokemon at all because there was literally nothing from the trailer we got. Like, literally, we have a trailer right here. And as you notice, none of these headlines mentioned it. Outside of the new 2DS XL. And Pokemon started their direct, mind you.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think anything was even announced in this. No, 2 new Ultra Beasts were announced in the trailer. One for Sun, one for Moon. I forgot their names.
I don't remember right offhand either.
I'm going to skip the trailer to find them. Also, those fusion forms for Soglio and Lunala are Necrozma forms, technically. It's Dustmane Necroza and Dawnwings Necrozma. Oh, by the way, you can pick up your Ash Hat Pikachus right now with the code, I think it's like Pikachu 20 is a serial code, but you can only redeem it once, and depending on when you redeem it is when you get a certain hat Pikachu. So choose wisely. I'm choosing my Kalos one because it's gonna go alongside my my Ash Greninja. I think we have a beach area, a Valley of Pikachu's area. Once more iterating the Rockruff gift that transforms into the Twilight Lycanroc, which is Dust form Lycanroc, my bad, which is still dumb. Z-move for the Lycanroc, or Z-move for any form of Lycanroc, mind you. So, yay. Here we go. We have UB Assembly, which is a tower of bricks on 4 legs for Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon. And we have, come on, trailer, a little faster, a little faster, a little faster. UB Burst for Pokemon Sun, which is some, I don't even know how to describe Burst. You know how to describe Burst? I take it as a no. But yeah, we got 2 new Ultra Beasts. Yay. That's still not enough for me to want these games, even though I can't have them. Especially with this new trailer that we got today, and should have been the trailer we got at the Direct, to be honest. By the way, we've also gotten a poster since then that I guess confirms Lily as a trainer, and I think this trailer does as well. That she's going to be competing in the trials alongside you and Haru. Which is kind of an interesting twist. But I guess move it over to the new trailer. Unless you have anything to talk about with the direct.
Nope.
Well, with the new trailer, we got the new Pokemon ride with a Mantine Surf, which I believe would snap the 3DS in half graphically. We also have this will essentially allow you to just do something while you're traveling between islands. The island challenges are still in the game. We're still dealing with totem Pokemon, although they're going to be some new ones, some modified ones, like forgot her name, but the painter lady. We actually have a trial for her this time. More than 400 Pokemon are going to be appearing in the region for Moon, which is like 98 more than what we got in Sun and Moon, with 302 only appearing. Some are going to be version exclusive. For instance, Houndoom is going to be in Pokemon Sun, whereas Manectric is going to be in Pokemon Moon. A little more confirmation, or once more reiterating the photo club. But yeah, shall we take a look at the trailer and you get to see how intense this surf mode is going to be. Tommy,
Do what?
take a look at the trailer. First trailer.
Guess so.
All right.
Just a second. Swap sources and. All right.
All right. Take a look at the first trailer here in 3, 2, 1, go. Mina, that's her name. But yeah, she has an actual trial this time instead of being some character you battle late in the game. And I guess Lily's in her second costume the whole game. They are super hard pushing this photo mode, and I'm not sure why. Any guesses on that?
I have no idea.
Because it's not like this is that critical of a game mode for Pokemon. But yeah, I don't think a 3DS can handle this. It can barely handle 4 Pokemon on screen at the same time, or a Pokemon with a super fancy aura. I don't think it can literally handle Tidal Wave and you surfing on them. It's nice we're getting more information about this game now. But I don't know. How do you feel? Guess a no. Because I'm not interested really.
Same. Really.
Like we got more hints of how the story is different, but still no real hard like this is what's different. So starting to think I'm going to be just watching a let's play of this. But any other thoughts on Pokemon stuff before we move on to releases?
No.
All right. Well, we got a crap ton of like PlayStation releases for whatever reason. Like I was honestly surprised by how much is coming out on the PlayStation 4. But to kick things off, on the 26th, we've got the new episode for Batman, The Enemy Within, The Pact for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC, the Don't Starve Mega Pack for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Yay! I should probably play Fallout 4 at some point. Pinball FX3 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Ruiner for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Splasher for Xbox One. WRC Day 1 Edition for Xbox One. Blue Reflection for PS4 and PC. Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony for PlayStation 4, Vita, and PC. DreamWorks Voltron VR Chronicles for PlayStation 4 and PC. Okay. Hob for PlayStation 4 and PC, Light Tracer for PlayStation 4, Singing Kagura, Peach Beach Splash for PlayStation 4, SteamWorld Dig 2 for PlayStation 4 and Vita, VR Carts for PlayStation 4, and Glitch Simulator 2018 for PC. There truly is a simulator for everything now. On the 27th, we've got 100-foot Robot Golf for PlayStation 4, Summon Night 6 Lost Borders for PlayStation 4 and Vita, Arcade Archives Mario Brothers for the Switch. On the 28th, we've got White Day Labyrinth Named School for PlayStation 4, Hive Jump for Wii U, Super Ultra Star Shooter for Wii U, Conga Master Party for the Switch, and Inverse Deluxe for the Switch, and Nudist Beach Survival Simulator for the PC. Because there's a simulator for everything.
But of course.
Coming out on the 29th, we've got FIFA 18 for 360, Xbox One, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Battle Garega Rev 2016 for Xbox One. Cuphead for Xbox One and PC. I was surprised to find out that was a Microsoft exclusive. I didn't know Cuphead was a Microsoft exclusive. Veronic Deluxe Edition for Xbox One, Gundam Versus for PlayStation 4, The Girl and the Robot Deluxe Edition for PlayStation 4, One Piece Unlimited World Red Deluxe Edition for Switch, and Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Specters for the 3DS. On the 2nd of October, The Hunter Call of the Wild for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Extreme Real Reality HD Remix for PC, and Armored Kitten for PC. On the 3rd, we've got Battle Chasers Night War for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. Dragon's Dogma Dark Horizon for Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Marble Void for Xbox One. Minecraft Xbox One Edition, Limited Edition Xbox One S Terabyte Console. The what? How the fuck do you pronounce that? Jindage? I'm going to go with that for PlayStation 4. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time for Switch. Super Beat Sonic for Switch. Cultsep Revolt for 3DS. And Forza 7 Motorsport for Xbox One and PC. On the 4th, we only got N++ for Xbox One. On the 5th, Axiom Verge for the Switch. Symphony of Eternia for 3DS. And A Hat in Time finally comes out for PC. Yay! And on the 6th, we've got Jid for Xbox One, Layton's Mystery Journey, Caterlia and the Mysterious Conspiracy for 3DS, and Mario Luigi Superstar Saga Bowser's Minions for 3DS. Which will take us to our next show, Into Quick Draws, which mine goes to the double manga that's 4 chapters in right now. I haven't talked about this yet, have I?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's a post-series story for those that don't know, and here's the weird thing about this double manga. You know how many times Double himself has shown up? Like, Shotaro and Philip have shown up a lot, but like Double in suit.
How many?
0.
Hmm.
We've had our monster for these 4 chapters shown up at least twice now, but Double himself has not shown up in 4 chapters. I'm not sure why. It's good, but I don't understand why we've not gotten Double yet. I think we've literally had an off-panel Double transformation and detransformation. But otherwise, it's good. It's Shotaro and Philip investigating a case of a girl who is eating people in order to essentially satiate her corruption of a Gaia memory. And a fan translation group, Gemcorp, are the ones doing translations of the manga, so you can check them out for subs or translations. Not technically subs. They also sub and build from the looks of it. And they're also translating the Kuga manga that's coming out right now. So all sorts of fun stuff. I recommend checking out the Double manga if you've watched Double, at least. That's all I got to say on it. Tell me, what's yours?
Well, mine's kind of a shout out to the whole Doom announcement. Apparently, it's going to run about as good as you can expect for the Switch. I believe I've seen where they said it is running at a solid 30 FPS, and I'm wanting to say it was 720p. I can't swear to that one.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, this article kind of goes on to say about how it is running as smooth as you can expect out of the Switch. That's kind of putting me in good hopes, because then that means that a lot of developers will see, okay, the Switch is able to run a form of Doom. Yeah, it might be watered down a little bit, but that might pave the way for some more games to start getting ported to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's just kind of mine. It's kind of a quick little deal there.
Yeah. Although I did find an odd quote when it came to this in Wolfenstein, where Bethesda saying this is the start of their relationship with Nintendo, where there's no mention of Skyrim, even though I believe Skyrim's coming out first.
Yeah.
Why is Skyrim not the start of their relationship?
Probably because Skyrim's such an old game that they're like, you know what, we'll throw this. Plus, they're probably not expecting Skyrim to do as good on the Switch for the simple fact of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I could see that.
Whereas there's not anything remotely close to Doom on the Switch. There's not anything remotely close to Wolfenstein on the Switch. So this would really be the true first steps towards Bethesda being like, yeah, this is where we're going.
Well, the question is, where do we go from here?
Yeah, that's going to be the question.
Well, I don't think I've told you about the really weird situation with the Genom Level 2 figure art that's coming out as a web exclusive.
I don't think you have.
Oh. Well, for those that don't know who might be listening, it's coming with the Shakakiri sports bike. Not the armor, the actual bicycle. I don't know why, but it is. But yeah, this goes along with our renewal Joker and the SIC Kachidoki arms, where the DJ gun sword mode is, I believe, taller than the figure. It's massive. Like, Look at how big this thing is.
Holy freaking crap.
That's just the sword.
It's not supposed to be that big.
This is SIC. They don't give a damn. That's the gun.
Again.
And just for the trifecta of fuck you to scale, the flags are even bigger.
Okay, now that one don't feel as bad as the other two, though.
Well, it's not because it's just fuck off huge. I will literally decapitate an elephant with it.
But, I mean, to be fair, the flags were kind of on the big side to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why I'm like, that one doesn't seem as bad. Still is a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I take it as they believe that bigger is better.
With SIC, yes. Crap, I forgot the scale for SIC because these are not 6-inch figures. I think they're 10-inch. Which really tells you how big that blade is. In comparison to the figure, at least. Which, now that I look at it, that is a really massive DJ gun and a really tiny Muso saber that's plugged into it. Like, the handle on that is tiny. Oh. Is it just me, or is Build feeling a little rushed at the moment?
I don't know.
Well, maybe it's not rushed, but it feels odd.
I think it's suffering right now from there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of setting up groundwork for a lot of different things at the same time. And as a result, we're kind of getting this feeling of it might potentially be rushed, but it's not yet. Because there's a lot of different questions that we're glossing over right now. But maybe we'll take time to kind of go back and actually hit it.
Yeah, the fact that two of our characters have very strange powers, and we're not even going to touch on that?
Yeah.
Which, someone had a very interesting theory about the two of them.
Okay.
What if they were the rabbit in Tank Smash? Or are? Because the girl in her little live stream, there's rabbits in the background. And when the owner transformed the tablet into a scratching post, it turned it into a blue shaft. And that blue's kind of similar to the blue for Tank.
It probably wouldn't surprise me because have you paid attention to the opening? There's obviously something with the bracelet she has.
Well, yeah.
Perhaps they are. And maybe that bracelet is like a device that he's made to kind of be able to let them use their power, but not to the point of becoming a full-on Smash.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Let's see, there's that. There's the Pandora panel, which is an actual toy that's coming out that they have embedded in the wall for some reason. and apparently is used to discover best matches, which once more makes me go, can Seto not see the stickers on the bottle caps because they're still there? I'm surprised they haven't made that wasn't the joke about discovering Hawk Gatling. Is that he just shoved them in there because he did the joke of like, oh, it's an animal in a machine, which is actually what it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the better joke would have been, oh, I just looked at the tabs. They have these stickers on here, and the letters match up. The colors too, because they're also color coordinated. Like, that would have been the better joke.
True.
Granted, I think at this point those stickers aren't supposed to be there,
Probably not.
which is kind of annoying. But I believe tomorrow we're getting Bloodstark or Bloodshark, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Yeah, he's the guy who poisoned Seto this week.
Oh, yeah.
And our only witness. I think I'm going to assume he ate him. Because if not, I'm not sure what happened to him. Also, you guys gonna have to go deal with Night Rouge, which let's hope that Dragon Full Bottle is really good. Which that also brings up a forum thread I saw on Token Nation where people were wondering, okay, if Rabbit gives speed and Dragon gives really good punching capabilities, what do all the rest of the full bottles do when you shake them? Like, what does Gatling do?
That's a good question. And an even better question is, do the machine bottles actually do anything? Because
right.
Both of those are animal bottles.
Maybe the machines don't do anything. Maybe it's only the animal ones. Which means, okay, there might be going way too much into how all of this shit works to start with that I'm going to go down. Because it's like, okay, if the animals provide the capabilities, does the machine ones provide the base of build itself?
That's possible.
Because once more, I'm like, okay, you were obviously pulling so hard from Double, it's ridiculous. Like an opening shot in your goddamn opening is literally like an homage to Double. So, all right. I guess that's how it would work. Because all of Double's Gaia memories were clearly defined on what they provided to Double in their halves.
Right.
So that's the weird thing about build is like they haven't quite clearly defined what all these full bottles do. Especially in their not best match forms. Because it doesn't really feel like the best matches are that different from the trials. Like, is that just me? Or wait a minute. Has he used the finisher and the not best match in the trial forms? Because I don't think he has. And maybe that's the big thing.
I don't remember.
Because I don't think he has. And maybe that's it, even though that goes against the toy because you can literally activate it. combination of full bottles. But maybe that will be it. That'll be the big like cinch difference between a trial form and a best match form. Because right now it feels like they're not really that different.
True.
Which is the thing about the double aesthetic that they kind of got wrong. Because like all 9 of doubles forms, like they had their ups and downs, but none of them were really weaker than the other. They just had different capabilities. Mm-hmm. I think here they're trying to do that, but they can't really prove it. But that, I think, is going to end us for tonight, because it's getting late. So check us out in 2 weeks. Back here for more gaming talk news, and in a week for most likely some Super Mario 64 online.
I believe so.
Yeah. Once more taking a crack at the co-op.
And chances are we might try to complete the game.
100% complete, or we're going to try to BLJ jump our way to victory.
I vote we do 70 star, preferably no major glitches kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
Like I know we're gonna have glitches. That's not gonna be a no glitches, but we might not try like BLJ.
Oh. Because I now know how to do BLJs.
Oh, I know how to too. They are extremely difficult to try to direct.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are long jumping backwards, which you're not supposed to do.
To be fair, the long jumping is hard to direct, really. I can't count the times that I have went the wrong direction trying to long jump.
But yeah, we're probably both not going to be playing Mario.
Oh, I know I won't.
I might be playing Crab Hands Peach.
I'll probably be Yoshi.
Yoshi float for fucking days.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. I still cannot get over the boat of just like, you just assume that I'm just flutter jumping perfectly. I'm like, nah, I'm just holding the button. Just to let people know, we were testing Super Mario 64 before we streamed Sailor Moon Mode League last week. I was Yoshi, and I flutter jumped all the way across the lawn, and Tommy thought I was flutter jumping perfectly, like just doing perfect inputs. No, I was just holding the button the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was broke like that.
Yeah, Yoshi like super broke.
I think you said Waluigi's broke too.
Yeah, because he can double jump. Like, you can get a quad jump out of him. Although he is balanced out by he can't take a fucking hit to save his life.
True.
Toad is literally the fastest thing alive because he's Blue Toad and he was taking lessons from Sonic.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah. Although I did find out from John's stream that you can swap characters on the fly.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How do you do that?
I think you just pick in the drop-down menu and you just swap. You don't even have to drop out of the game. Granted, that's not the only insane thing I saw, because you remember Teppo the Badass Elephant?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, John broke the game like 2 minutes in. And You will believe an elephant can fly is about the best description for how that 20 minutes of actually beating levels with this nonsense like space jump in play that is completely uncontrollable. I'm not sure how he controlled it, but yeah.
Also,
I suggest
John breaking games. Typical.
to be fair, he didn't even knew he broke the game until he literally dropped to the tutorial and was like, wait, because Teppo kept like trying to shove himself into the ground, and then all of a sudden, vroom, off the screen he went.
Yeah.
And then slam back into the ground, try to glitch into the ground, and back off we go again. And apparently it's a glitch where you may have to reinstall the game to fix. John didn't have to do that, so I don't know. This was literally hopped into the game and the game decided to go off the bat. It's just like, nope, I ain't dealing with I ain't gonna be right today. I'm just gonna be wrong and be glitchy. But anyway, for Tommy, I'm peace. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.